Hello, welcome to episode 38 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. We have a Ravelry group which you can find by searching Little Bobbins Knits in the groups tab on Ravelry, and show notes for the podcast can be found at littlebobbins.co.uk. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so pleased to see you, and so is little Bobbin. Oh, good boy. I made the mistake of giving him a treat earlier and now all he can think of are the treats that are just up there. So, poor tormented creature. I'm working with a new camera today, so do bear with me while I try and make it work. I haven't used it before, so it might take me a little while to get used to, so yeah. I hope you've had a really lovely time since I saw you last. I think it's been about 3 weeks again. We haven't been doing much over here, I don't think. Just house stuff, but it's coming together. I'm really hoping to show you a little look around my studio sometime soon. I did a little tour on Periscope a couple of days ago, so if you're not on Periscope then I'd urge you to have a go if you fancy trying it out. It's quite fun because you can interact with people, which is just lovely. But if you don't feel like being on there, you can watch the Periscope broadcasts through periscope.tv, and then if you wanted to search for my videos then you just do a / my little bobbins. They're only on there for 24 hours after they've been recorded, but yeah, it might be fun if you wanted to have a look. I am hoping to record something to add on to the podcast. Maybe not this time, but soon. Right, so I recorded this episode a couple of days ago and I had a technology malfunction. So I hope I don't seem too distracted, because I'm never quite sure if I've said the thing just now or whether it's something that I said when I recorded it last time. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too rambly. So today I've got some works in progress to show you, some finished objects, some lovely things, and I'm going to start a giveaway which I'm really excited about. Got my notes here so I try and keep on track. So, works in progress. I'll start with these ones. I'll work in the order that I did it in last time. Bobbin, are you okay? I've got a little treat in my pocket, perhaps I'll give one to him. This is a slightly bigger one, so he'll be able to go and sort it out. Give him something to think about. Funny little thing. So, in my lovely little bag from Himiko, which I just love, so sweet, I've got some socks that I'm knitting for David. These are hopefully going to be for Christmas socks, if I can keep hold of them for long enough. When David was putting his socks on, another pair that I'd knit for him the other day, he said, "Oh, these are like a hug for your feet." And they're the magic words, aren't they? So I thought I'd better get started knitting him a new pair. So I finished the first one. It's 68 stitches and I've knit this on a 2.25mm needle. And I've used a fish lips kiss heel because I do like that if I'm not, if I want to not interrupt the stripes. Stop, Bobbin, it's fine. I think he was starved, wouldn't you? Just this voracious appetite for treats. But I've done the fish lips kiss heel in a different yarn. I used a mini skein I had from the wool barn. It's alpaca, cashmere and silk, I think, so luxurious heel or what. But this yarn is lovely. It's sparkly. Don't know if you'll be able to see that. Such lovely yarn. It's from British Bee Knits. It's one of her Buffy colourways. It's called Stop this crazy whirligig of fun. I'm not entirely sure where I've put the ball band, but yeah. So I love it because it's Buffy. David's never got into Buffy. Don't understand it personally. Never mind. So that's the first one, and I've made a start on the second one now. I'm knitting these on my, what are they called? Signature needles, which I hadn't liked before. I didn't particularly get on well with them when I used them last because they're really, really hard and very cold, and they don't seem to warm up with your hands. And they're quite heavy actually as well. My usual favourite are Higher Sharps, and they're really lovely and light, and they do warm up with your hands. But I'm enjoying these this time, so I'm not sure what the difference is. It might be this lovely yarn. And I don't know if you can hear this, but there's a little treat ball inside, which I just think is so fun. So extra motivation to knit these socks so that I can see what's in the little treat ball. That was something that British Bee Knits did for her Halloween yarns. I'll show you some of those in a bit because I had to grab some of those. I think it's such a fun idea. So yes, sparkly socks for David for Christmas. Not sure how we'll feel about the sparkle yet, but it's Christmas. So they've been really, really lovely to work on. I've really enjoyed those. Are you a good boy? Good boy. My next work in progress is in this lovely bag. Isn't it cute? It's from Debbie, who has the Debbie Reese Designs Etsy shop. She sent it to me as a gift, and it's just so lovely. I think that the little birds on there, they just look so cosy, don't they? All snuggled up in their scarves and hats. Little earmuffs. So sweet. Thank you, Debbie. And in here I've got my second windswept shawl. Oh, excuse me, Bobs. I'm knitting this one for Mum. I have just knit myself one, and I love it so much I thought Mum needed one too. The pattern's by Molly of A Homespun House, and it's such a lovely pattern to knit, and I really like the effect. I'll show you a finished one in a bit. But this is where I am so far on Mum's. I'm using lovely yarn from Blacker. It's their Cornish tin, and this was a birthday blend that they had made especially for their 10-year birthday. And it's a really lovely yarn. It's very woolly and just gorgeous and squishy. It's not super duper soft, but it's very, very lovely and woolly. I don't know if you can see how squishable that looks. And I really, really wanted some of this yarn because of the blend. They've teamed up with 10 of their favourite small producers to make this yarn, and it's got alpaca, merino, mohair, Teeswater, Shetland, Black Welsh Mountain, Jacob and Gotland in there. I just thought that sounded so like such a lovely blend that I really wanted to give it a try, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like after it's had a wash and a block, because I think it will bloom and soften up a little bit, which will be nice. I'm knitting it on my carbons needles, interchangeable, 4mm these ones are, and they're working really nicely for this. I don't know if you can hear that tip tappiness. This is, I'm not sure what the sound's going to be like on this camera, but we're looking after another dog today and she's exploring. I have no idea what she's doing. I couldn't let her in here because I'm too worried about her knocking the camera setup that I've got going on. So yeah, she's just trotting around out there. Bobbin's not very happy that she's here. Spoiled little monkey, aren't you? So yeah, that's my second windswept, and I'm enjoying it just as much as the first. Pop that up there. Hello, good boy. My last work in progress, They're all different from last time, aren't they? I seem to be casting on a lot of things lately. There goes Bobbins' little tip-tappy feet. So my last work in progress, I'm knitting a Grumps cardi. This pattern's by Tin Can Knits. Do you know the one? It's the sort of old man cardi for sized from baby to adult. It's got a contrasting colour shawl collar and contrasting wrist thingies, what are they called? Cuffs, and elbow pads, and it's really, really lovely. Little pockets. So I'm knitting one of those. I'm knitting the 2 to 4 size, and it's starting to look like a little cardi. It's very sweet. It's so cute. I'm knitting it on my Knit Pro Zings. These are 4.5mm, and I bought a few sets of these. Completely seduced by all the different colours that the needles come in, and they're fine to work with, but they're not my favourite because the tips are a bit blunt, and out of all the sizes that I got, they're quite inconsistent in the tips. Some of them are blunter than others. Blunt needles are never going to be my favourite because I really love the higher sharps with their lovely sharp tapered tip, but they're fine for this project. I'll probably use them mostly on plain knitting, nothing too detailed or lacy or with too many increases or decreases, things like that. I'm using Malabrigo Rios in this cocoa colour. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the colour. It is the most luxuriously beautiful chocolate brown. It just looks edible, scrumptious, and I'm really enjoying that. It's a really lovely soft yarn. And I was hoping I was going to be able to stash bust for this project. I seem to have quite a few skeins of Rios. I think I got it with the intention of knitting people hats for Christmas, and then realised that I only knit for very few people, so they might not need any hats. So I have this left over. This is Rios in lavender, but there's quite a lot of that brown in there. And just grab my ball. I don't think the contrast will be enough. So I have this left over from a hat that I actually did knit. This is the teal feather colourway. And I think that contrast will just be gorgeous. So, as the contrasting elements use about a skein with this size of the pattern, I'm going to need to get another skein just in case they're wildly different. I don't want to start with this and then find that the colour's very, very different on the next one. So yeah, that's paused me on that a bit because I can't buy yarn right now. So I'll get back to that as soon as I've picked up another skein. That's all of my works in progress. Bobbin, why don't you come up here, because you've got tip-tappy feet, haven't you? He says he will if I give him a treat. And then he can't promise for how long he'll stay. Have a sip of my tea. I don't know if I showed you this mug last time. It's so cute. I just found it in a local little shop, and it's got sheep with little knitted bodies. And inside, can you see that? It says the knitting circle. Just thought it was so cute. And I'm drinking the most delicious tea. This is English Rose from Republic of Tea. It's got hibiscus, rosehip, apples, raspberry, rose and vanilla. And it was sent to me by Laura from the Corner of Knit and Tea. And it's so delicious. If you can get your hands on some of this, I would so highly recommend it. It's fruity and sweet, but not too sweet, and just completely delicious. Thank you, Laura. I've just noticed this is here. I've been knitting a few more squares on my blanket. So I thought I'd just bring it to show you. I can't remember how many I added since I showed you last. Before we were moving, Sally from the Wool Diaries podcast was having a sock blanket madness week. I think there might be another one starting quite soon actually. But I thought I'd take part in that, and I knit up a few squares and then we moved and all of that palaver happened. So I can't remember which ones I added. But in the last couple of weeks I added some and I can remember which ones those are, so I thought I'd show you. I added this one. That is from Sarah from Knotty Gnome Crafts podcast. It's lovely and soft, gorgeous yarn, that one. And with it getting so big, I do struggle to, here they are. I struggle to find the ones that I've added. I added these three. Oh, I must sew in ends. I think Sally has another sock blanket madness type thing where you just sew in ends. I think I need to jump on that. I added those three as well. These two are from Sarah, and this one was from Jessie, who's my friend Ocha. I love that. It's so Christmassy, isn't it? I can't remember which set it was, but yeah, I do love the Christmassiness of that. I just wanted to mention, I don't know how we're all feeling about mentioning the C word, but I'm really looking forward to doing another Christmas Eve cast on this year, so I hope you're going to join me for that. Last year, if you weren't here, last year we all cast on some socks on Christmas Eve, and it was really, really fun. So yeah, I hope you're going to join in with that again this year. I'm quite excited. Need to start looking at Christmassy yarns. So yes, that's grown a little bit more. I think I've still got about 160 more squares to knit, but I won't be able to fit it all in the frame. But yeah, it's growing. I'm getting really excited about doing the I-cord bind off. I think I'm going to do an applied I-cord bind off. I'm getting really excited about doing that. I don't know what colour I'll use yet. I was wondering about magic knotting lots of different ends of these yarns together and doing an I-cord like that, so that it was just as wildly coloured as the main body of the blanket. I'm not sure. I've got time to think about it. Bobbin, should I put that there? You can line it if you want to. So, finished objects. I finished the windswept shawl I knit for me. So this is the pattern by Molly of A Homespun House, the one that I'm knitting for Mum now, and it's just turned out beautifully. I have worn it a few times, so it's not as pristine as it was after it had just finished blocking, but I couldn't resist because it's so lovely and snuggly. I love the little border that there is on the end too. I used rosy green wool, Cheeky Merino Joy for this. I think it was the Wild Mallow colour, and yeah, it was just such a pleasure to knit. I love that picot bind off. I used my blocking wires to block this, which I really, really love using because it means that you can just run a wire through all of the picots instead of having to pin them all out individually. And my shawl is slightly different to the original because I knit 2 extra rows of this long stitch section, I think, or 2 extra patterns, because I just couldn't stop knitting it, it seems. I was just knitting away quite happily and realised I'd gone a bit far. But that's fine, I still had yarn left over so I could do that, and I really love this shawl. I love the size and I love the weight of it. It's really, really cosy. Now, my next finished object is purely finished because of how inspiring you've all been in the Purposeful Stash Along thread. Thank you so much for still persevering with that. I'm going to close the thread on the 31st of October, just so that just feels like a round date, and I still sorting out prizes, so that seems manageable for me. Thank you so much to everyone who's still taking part. It's been lovely to see what you've been creating in the Purposeful Stash Along / longest knit along in the world. But yes, so I'll close the thread on the 31st of October. And yeah, you inspired me to finish my Newsome cardi. I knit this in Rowan Felted Tweed, and the yarn is lovely. I really like the yarn. It's the clay colour. And the pattern was really nice. I changed it slightly by how I treated the edge stitches. There's a link to how I did that in my project page if you'd like to see. I basically just knit the last stitch through the back loop and then slipped the first stitch of every row purlwise. Yeah, so it was all fine. I've sewn on one of my little grain deep labels, which I just love. Someone asked in one of the threads, and I'm sorry I can't remember who it was, but you asked how I sew on these little labels. And they come with ready punched little holes, so it makes sewing them on really neat. And what I tend to do is split the plies of whatever yarn that I'm using and use one of the plies to sew on the label. So yeah, this all went fine, but it doesn't fit. I'll show you how it fits. So here's how the cardi fits on me. It's just not very flattering, is it? The sleeves are much too long, even though I've got them really rolled up. They would be quite a few inches too long. And I really don't like how baggy they are around the arms. Just think it looks a bit sloppy. I think this is the sort of cardigan that needs to be properly oversized or quite fitted. So I definitely knit the wrong size. I do like how you've got this mitered bit at the back, because you start here and work up. I really like that. I like how that looks. But yeah, it's not for me, is it? Yeah, so that's a shame, but luckily, really luckily, it fits Mum really nicely. So I'm really happy about that. That couldn't have worked out better actually, because I've been wanting to knit Mum a cardigan for a while, but we haven't come across a pattern that she's liked or anything, so I haven't yet, but now she gets this one. I really love this one, so I'm really pleased that she likes it. The arms are still too big on her, but it just looks nice. It doesn't look sloppy like it does on me. It just looks nice on her. And the arms are still too long, but Mum quite likes to roll up her sleeves. I have said to Mum that I can cut the sleeves and re-knit the little garter band if she doesn't like having them turned up. They were knit from the cuff up, so I think I'd have to cut them and just knit down. But I quite like how it looks with the little turn-ups, because it's got reverse stocking stitch and garter stitch all in the same cardi. And with tweed I love how it looks in the different stitches. So yes, that was a success really, because Mum gets a new cardi. I should have known that it would be too big. I gauge swatched, but gauge swatches are useless if you don't listen to what the gauge swatch tells you. I knew it was going to be bigger than it should have been, but I didn't alter my thinking. I still thought, oh, I'll still do the one size bigger than I should do. I have no idea why. So yeah, they're my finished objects. On to lovely things. I'm sorry if it feels like I'm speeding through this. It does for me a little bit. I think because I already recorded, it just sort of confuses my brain a little bit, and I'm not entirely sure how this new camera is going to work out, so yeah. This tea is seriously so delicious. Lovely. So on to lovely things. Before we moved, I got a lovely package from Julia, and I packed it, and I unpacked it last week, so I can show you. And it was such a lovely package. Julia's in Australia, and she tried to send me all Australian things, which was just so exciting because they're difficult to get hold of for me. I'm not one to risk customs charges, so yeah, this is a lovely treat, getting things that are from faraway places. She sent me this beautiful postcard. Her sister lives on the beachfront. Can you imagine? It's just beautiful. Lovely. She also sent me some fibre. So these are Rolags from Yarn vs Zombies. And I love their tagline, the zombies are coming, do you have enough yarn? I love zombies. We've been watching the new series of The Walking Dead, which is one of my favourite series ever. So good. But yeah, so that made me smile. And these are so pretty. They've got sort of rust colours, lilac, orange. They're really, really beautiful. And they've got all sorts of fibres in. So this one's got superfine merino, corriedale, tussar silk and possum, which I thought was fun. So I'm looking forward to spinning those up. I think I'll use one of my drop spindles, because I love those little chunks of fibre for drop spindles. And she also sent me this one. And this one's really fun. It's got corriedale, bamboo, banana, corn, rose and recycled sari silk. Which sounds so exciting. Look at that. Isn't that fun? I love this section. See this pink? Oh, gorgeous. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to spin up. Julia also sent me some really lovely tweedy yarn. I need to have a look around for some DK hat patterns for this, I think. Because I think it will be such a cosy hat. It's really pretty. So it's sort of a reddish colour with some blues and some peaches in there. It's called Paper Rose. Isn't that a lovely name? This is Joe Sharp. Silk Road DK Tweed. It's a wool, silk and cashmere blend. It's very lovely. So I need to think of a lovely cosy hat for that, I think. And she also sent me a lovely little paper bag full of mini skeins. And these are all from Australian dyers, I believe. Which is really, really lovely. This one's from Skein, and I totally understand why people talk about Skein so much, because this is the softest yarn. That's the top drawer sock. And that one's really lovely, isn't it? It's an Angora and BFL blend, and I just think the colours are so pretty. Yeah, really, really lovely yarns. Thank you so much, Julia. Julia knits with beautiful colours, and that's such a lovely little selection of them there. And she also sent me some very lovely tea bags and chocolate. It was exciting. I also got another package, and this was a complete surprise, and it was so lovely. Debbie and Amy, they've recently started a shop together actually. It's called Debbie Reese Design, And this was such a surprise. Debbie sent me this bag, which I already showed you, which I just think is adorable. And she also sent me this one. Isn't it so cute? So Halloweeny. She actually sent us one for a giveaway as well, and I've just realised it's just over there. I'll just reach over, hang on. So here's the one she sent us for a giveaway, and it's Halloweeny inspired too. So lovely. It's padded. It's got a lovely polka dot lining. Beautifully made. A little handle. It's got eyeballs on the back. And because of my awful schedule lately, I think I've sort of missed being able to give it away for this Halloween. What do you think? Let me know. But thank you for that. It's so cute. Pop that away. So yes, in the bag that they sent to me, I've got some beautiful yarn. This was dyed by Amy, and it's so pretty, isn't it? Such beautiful pastel colours. I think that this would look beautiful in my Excuse Me shawl. I think it would add a real sort of uplifting, sort of brightening edge to it. And she's called this Dani's Delight, which I think is lovely because it was custom dyed for me. And there's some little stitch markers on there. Oh, it matches my nail varnish. So that's beautiful. And Amy also sent me some absolutely gorgeous cards that she's made. Isn't that lovely how they're packaged? And they're so pretty. I really love stationery, so I'm going to really enjoy using those. Thank you, Amy. And they also both sent me a card, which was really lovely. And Debbie sent me some minis for my blanket. In a beautiful selection of colours, and they're all labelled, which is just lovely. So they're going to be a lot of fun. There are also some lovely tea bags in here, and some washi tape, which is so exciting. I love washi tape. So they're going to be really fun. So yeah, that was just a complete surprise and just lovely. So thank you both so much. So cute. So, some other lovely things. You're right, Bobbin. You're waiting so patiently for your treat, aren't you? Why don't you come up here? No, don't feel like it. As I mentioned before, British Beanuts was doing some Halloween yarns, and I had to get some of those. These have all got the little treat ball inside. Can you hear that? So fun. This one is from Zombieland. It's called Rule 32, Enjoy the Little Things. And I don't like the film Zombieland particularly. I have a aversion to horror comedy, just like my horror. I won't start a rant, but yes. But I really loved these colours. I just think they're so lovely together. So I couldn't resist this one. It's got sparkle in as well. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. Such pretty colours. So yes, I got that one. And I also got this one. This one was inspired by The Conjuring. It's called You Know You Can't Shoot a Ghost Right. And I really think these have got to be socks for my mum. I think that she'll really like these colours. British Beanuts from Etsy. And the last one is this one. This one was inspired by The Shining. It's Room 237. Aren't those colours lovely? I think these are going to be so fun to knit. So yeah, I really liked those. And the yarn's lovely and soft. I'm very excited about knitting with those. I also covered it in stuff. Hang on a second. When I was getting my zing needles, I mentioned I got a few pairs of those. I was having a little peruse on Get Knitted and I saw this. It's massive. It's an advent calendar from Opal and you get 24 little tiny balls of Opal in each, well, one in each door. I really tried so hard to resist, but pre-orders were up and I couldn't resist. I couldn't. So I just think this is going to be so fun. I wasn't expecting it to be so massive though. So yeah, I also got that. I think I'm going to have a little bowl downstairs that I'll put them in as I get them out of the advent calendar. I'd love to knit one a day into my blanket, but I know that that just won't happen. Things get a bit wild around that time, so I know that I won't be able to do that. But a little Christmas bowl full of all of the minis that I get out of that advent calendar will be so fun, I think. So yeah, couldn't resist. And another thing that I got are 3 skeins of, or 3 balls, cakes, of this Maybelline Ivy. This is from tangledyarn.co.uk and it's 100% pure new wool. I love the colour. It's called Sugar Snap. I think it's so pretty and delicate. And I got this because I'd really like to knit the Succulent Shawl by Maria Monska of the Stitched in Sweden podcast. I really love the version that Maria did, that's the large one with, I think she used Holsgarn. It looks so light but still cosy, so yeah, hoping to get that on the needles soon. So yeah, I just want to cast on everything at the moment. There are so many lovely patterns out, aren't there? Nina, Fuzzy Love Knots, of the Fuzzy Love Knots podcast, alerted me to the fact that Stephen West has got a new mystery knit along coming out. Very, very exciting. I'm definitely going to need to do that, so I need to start digging through my stash to see what I've got. Very exciting. So that's all of my lovely things. I have got a couple of other lovely things, but I can't buy things at the moment, especially not now. I just bought this camera, so I thought I'd spread it out a little bit. So I've got something to show you next week. So on to the giveaway. Claire from the NH Knits podcast, which is a brilliant podcast. I highly recommend it if you don't listen already. It's an audio podcast and I just thoroughly enjoy it. Well, Claire's just brought out her first knitting pattern a few weeks ago now because I'm late to everything right now. But it's such a beautiful pattern. Let me see if I can get a picture. I'll try and insert one, but in case that doesn't work. So yeah, this is the sock pattern. It's beautiful, isn't it? I'm very excited to knit it. I've already picked out my yarn. I'm going to use this Tough Sock from the Uncommon Thread. It's in this tea smoked colourway. Do you see these bits? Just black specks in this gorgeous tea colour. Oh, I love this yarn. I've been waiting for something special and I think Claire's sock pattern will be perfect. I'm still on the hunt for my 2.5mm needles. Anyway, so Claire very, very kindly offered to us a pattern. So, since the pattern is inspired by her chicken, Agatha, they're the Agatha socks, did I say that? Since the pattern is inspired by Agatha the chicken, who likes to roam around instead of being cooped up like the other chickens, I thought it would be fun if we could, if you'd like to win a copy, if you could go into the thread, and that'll set up, and tell us one of your little quirks. I thought that would be really fun. If I ever ask you a question, I always try and think of an answer myself, just to make sure that I think it's doable. I couldn't think of one for this. It's quite hard. I think because we think we're quite normal, don't we? I certainly think I'm quite normal. So I asked David. He came up with quite a few. And I asked my mum. She also had some suggestions. But one that David came up with was how I can't mix food genres. I just can't do it. So we'll be having stir fry, lovely vegetables and noodles or something, and David will chuck olives in there. And it just blows my mind. I can't mix food genres. No. So I suppose that's a quirk, although I think that's perfectly normal, because why would you put olives in a stir fry? But yeah, if you would like to enter to win a copy of the pattern, then come and tell us what your little quirk is in the thread. And thank you, Claire, for donating one of those lovely sock patterns to us. Now I think that's everything I've got for today. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. And I really hope to get back to a more regular podcasting schedule, because I miss you and I really enjoy my time coming and chatting with you. And so yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll be able to get into a better routine with it all, and I hope you'll join me. So thank you so much to everyone who's been in touch over the last few weeks, and thank you for your supportive messages about recent happenings. I was so shocked to see that so many of you had had similar experiences. It's just awful, isn't it? But yeah, thank you so much for being there and being lovely. So I hope to see you next week, and have a lovely week in the meantime. Bye.